Welcome back to Restore Thrive. We're talking natural movement. What we're going to go over today is two foundational movements that we love to see people doing in the gym, but we also see people doing all day long in normal life. Those two movements are what we call the squat and the deadlift. And while you may not want to grab a barbell, what we do know is that you're going to be doing these two movements. That hip hinge that we see in the deadlift and that squat motion we see in a squat in the gym throughout the day in a variety of different iterations and body positions. So that ability to be able to keep your trunk stable and move around your hips and your lower body is what we consider just a fundamental human movement. And we see that a lot of people, if they don't understand the formal way to do those things, start to use a lot of compensatory patterns that cause problems down the line. And one of the things we tell people is that you should be able to squat like it's your job. And to be able to do that for a lifetime, you've got to be able to train that motion on a regular basis to maintain that ability. So again, we don't need a barbell necessarily to do that. We can use something as simple as a dumbbell. We can use a kettlebell. If we have a small kid at home even, we've used our kids before to just simply hold and work these squat and hinge positions. So we're going to go over the dumbbell version of a squat and a hip hinge here. We'll start with the squat, and that's what most people are familiar with. So what we'll do is we'll take a dumbbell. It doesn't need to be a heavy weight to start. We're going to hold this at chest level. We're going to organize ourselves in the squat position first. So I want my feet around shoulder width apart. I'm going to push my big toes into the ground, and then I'm going to squeeze my butt and screw my hips into the ground to create that torque through my midsection. I'll take a breath in. Exhale, pull my rib cage down, get my abs tight, and as I sit in that squat, my knees stay out in line with my ankles, my back stays straight, and I'm pulling myself down with my hips and hamstring. I push through the floor to stand back up, big toes stay on the ground, and again, I pull myself down into that bottom position, push through the floor to stand back up. We generally recommend, if you're doing this in a training session, that you start with a simple 5x5 routine. What that allows you to do is go slow, focus on form, but get enough repetition that you start to master this movement. Now the deadlift, the hip hinge, is a little bit different mechanic. We're still working around the hip, but now what we're doing is we're closing down the hip range of motion, folding forward around that hip joint and trying to keep ourselves organized through our midsection so that our back doesn't start to hold the weight of that forward bend or the weight of the object we're picking up in front of us. So what we'll do here with the dumbbell is we're going to stand as close as we can to whatever it is that we're lifting up. And in the case of a dumbbell, we can stand right over it. That closes the distance that I have to bend forward. The sequence in terms of bracing is the exact same as the squat. Big toes press into the floor, squeeze your butt, screw your hips into the ground, take a breath in, exhale, pull your rib cage down, and then I should be able to fold around my hips, extend my arms without rounding through my upper back. If I feel myself rounding, don't correct like this, because to do that, you have to overextend through your spine. And when you do that, you go bone on bone through your spine, which is not a sustainable way to lift. So reset, get yourself engaged. If you bend over and find you still can't reach the object you're trying to pick up, go into a little bit of knee bend. Grab that weight that you're going to hold on to, pull your shoulders back, push your hips back and straighten out your knees, and then simply push through the floor to stand up. When I come back down, I'm bowing forward from my hips and then pushing through the floor, bringing my hips back forward as I stand. My eyes are looking about 2 to 3 feet in front of me. I don't want to be in this head up position because then again, that's a bone on bone position. It makes it hard to keep my spine stable as I go up and down here. So that's squat and deadlift, two simple exercises that you can work in that 5x5 format to really ingrain good mechanics for the lower body. One of the nice things we love about these exercises too is when you learn to keep your spine stable when you're squatting and deadlifting, you get stronger through your midsection as well, so you get some added benefit there. So give these exercises a try at home, guys. Just once a week to start if you're new to exercise, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.